Good morning. This is Megha Paul from Travel Daily's Inspiring Women in Travel Asia. And today I'm joined by Eva Narkiewicz and Michelle Reedy, who are doing an amazing job in Thailand. And I will just set the ball open for them and see where it takes us from here. So, Eva and Michelle, could you tell me about your journey and how's it been for you both in Thailand at Elephantstay?
Look, it's been an amazing journey. It started when I was a keeper at Melbourne Zoo, wanting to get more exposure to elephants and more experience with elephants. So our first trip to Thailand, we came in 2001 just to visit, to travel Thailand, look at people living and working with elephants, and then got a scholarship through the zoo to come back for 6 months.
How long back was this?
That was in 2004. We came for 6 months.
Wow.
And then while they were here, they asked us to, the director of the foundation, Prakach Brown Foundation, asked us to come back and set up a program under the foundation to retire old elephants, where they would have people would have an opportunity to come and look after them, and that's how Elephantstay was born. So we came at the beginning of 2006 to set up Elephantstay. So we've been going over 16 years now.
Wow, that's been a long time.
Yes, yeah. And when we went to different elephant facilities, but this was the one we were most impressed with because of their vision and commitment to the elephants. They had a breeding program. They were looking after dangerous and killer elephants, and they just had a real vision for the future, for the mahouts, for the elephants, and what that could mean. And we just found that really impressive, and we thought, this is something so huge in scope, it would be amazing to be a part of it. And for us, it was really important to actually work with Thai people. That was something that
to help them do what they're doing.
Yes, to help them do what they're doing, exactly. I think that was the thing. We wanted to...
We can make more of an impact,
yes,
by helping them do what they're doing. Also, this place is a working elephant village. It's not a tourist camp. It was not set up for tourists. It's the working elephant village, the tourist places in town. But Elephantstay we do here, right in the middle of the village, and that's why our guests have the opportunity to see what it's like to really be in an working elephant village and see the day-to-day, and what happens in the evening and overnight, and just all aspects of it. And our guests, like if they're lucky, when sometimes an elephant gives birth, so in the middle of the night, it's quite often in the middle of the night when they give birth, and we'll wake the guests up and call them, and we'll all go out and they can see a newborn baby, and just a whole gamut of the experience.
Yeah, the experience is very real and authentic.
Yeah. So when you say it is a working elephant village, and you work with the local community, how does, the day-to-day operations look like? What do you do in the entire day? Like, would be so interesting to see how it goes on from, in the morning to the evening to the night, how is it?
Well, IWTA was the capital of Siam. So there's World Heritage Site in the middle of town. There's beautiful parks and ruins from when IWTA was the capital. And so in there, the elephants go into town and they give rides around the ruins.
Like so tourists sit on the chair and they can go around and see the ruins and take photos from on the back of the elephant. And the Elephantstay is actually, the village here is actually next to the Royal Elephant Kraal. So it's the last standing kraal in Thailand, and the kraal is where they would herd wild elephants. They'd go to the forests and drive wild elephants into these like a funneling system, and then they'd go in within the white walls, and the kings would pick their elephants that they wanted, whether it be for transport or war or whatever, and then they just released the other elephants. So the kraal is actually a World Heritage Site. So and the village is next to that. So you've got all that history and culture here, and we explain that to our guests.
Because it gives people context of why we're still keeping elephants today. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that people often don't understand. They just sort of think, oh, they've been plucked from the wild, but it's actually been illegal to take elephants from the wild for many, like for 100 years nearly. So it's not something that people do or are allowed to do. All these elephants are born in a domestic situation. So it's not, you know, there's a big separation between wild and domestic elephants. Yeah. And you know, that's one of the things they've done here is to make sure that elephants have proper IDs, and, you know, they lobby the government for better laws. And one of those was, you know, having IDs for elephants so that they couldn't smuggle elephants illegally over borders.
So like every domestic elephant in Thailand has its own passport.
And that's like interesting, you know, a personal ID for the elephant. And out of curiosity, how many of these elephants does Elephantstay have? How many people, how many elephants are you working with?
Well, here at the kraal, we've got between,
it's about 70
elephants. Yeah. But the family, they own over 180 elephants.
Because they've had 85 successful births since 2000.
So,
and that's like an incredible amount of elephants. There's over 4,000 domestic elephants in Thailand. And all of those, and as I was saying with the DNA, they are with the IDs, they have their DNA taken, their microchips. So the passports are very specific, and you can't now do anything to corrupt them because you can't change DNA on an elephant. So, you know, it's, I think it's something that was really important to help the wild populations, you know, from other countries just as much as the elephants here. And it protects all the people who are doing the right thing.
So when you say you work with elephants, you know, people aspire to become doctors, engineers, but you decided to work with animals, you know. So when did you realize that the love for animals, and I'm sure it has to be an innate love that you had for them since the beginning, or did it develop over time? How's your personal journey been?
Well, I've always loved animals and elephants. I started my working career working in supermarkets and did that for 12 years. Then it wasn't what I wanted to do, so I resigned and then went back to study and did animal studies, and then progressed. I wanted to get into a zoo, so I pursued that and got into the zoo. And wanting to work with elephants at the zoo, but that didn't open up to me. So that's why I came and seeing this, and it then opened up the opportunity to come and live here and do what we're doing. So, but also you were asking about our day-to-day. I mean, the day-to-day is when you're working with elephants, you look after them every day. It's hard, heavy, you know, tiring work. So you've got to feed them and water them and take them to the river and all that sort of stuff.
Take them out for grass.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, an elephant eats about 150 to 200 kilos a day per elephant. So you've got to get that food and then feed them that food, and then they defecate about 50% of that. So you're dealing with a lot of dung as well. So, you know, looking after elephants is tiring, exhausting work.
But very rewarding because they're incredible animals. And, you know, I've always loved all animals. And it wasn't till I really met an elephant that I thought, wow, now this is like the pinnacle of, you know, what animals are. Like, they're so massive and they're so powerful and they have such an impact on you. And that's really something that I just fell in love with them when we came here. And, you know,
and also like baby elephants. Like,
just the
you see baby elephants. I'd never seen one up close and personal until coming to Thailand. I'd seen, you know, on film or movies or whatever, videos of that, but never up close and personal. And then when we came to Thailand, I saw a baby elephant for the first time.
Yeah, nothing.
My God, it was so much cuter than you could ever imagine.
So much more in real life. Like, it's a million times better. It really is.
And every elephant has its own personality, so they're all very different. And, you know, to work with each individual elephant is very different. It's like you, as a person, when you have friends or family, you can't treat everyone exactly the same because they all have their own different personalities, and some are more sensitive, some are more tolerant, you know, like, and you have to learn that when you're looking after elephants, what they're like, what they're about, to build a bond with them.
So, you know, when we talk about our lives, we wake up, go for a morning walk, and then, you know, get into the rut of the life and wait through traffic to get into our cumbersome schedules. And then, you know, that's what we do. But of course, you know, COVID has changed that. But again, we all have very distinct, extremely mundane lifestyles. So, you know, coming back to you both, you have like a very different adventurous lifestyle. So how does it look for you from morning until evening? So how does it work for you from the capitalistic world to, you know, the forest world, to the elephants? How is it?
Well, IWTA is a town, and we're just outside of town, so it is very suburban where we are.
And well, more rural. It is quite rural, but we're close to a lot of amenities.
Yeah.
So we're
not in the jungle.
No. We're next to a river though. Yeah. And, you know, there's obviously a lot of land and trees and all the rest of it. But
our life,
I've never been a capitalist anyway, so it wasn't. I'm not interested in, you know, wealth or anything. Just more experience and the richness of life, you know, for me, and that's what we want to offer people, is to have something outside of, you know, this is not luxury. This is but it's an experience that will enrich your life.
And also,
I think that's the thing.
Our day-to-day varies from, I mean, over the last 2 years, we haven't really had guests come for the experience. So, of course, that's changed. And our day-to-day has changed dramatically from when we first came here to start the program 16 years ago to now, because it was just Ever and I at the start. And we had 3 elephants we looked after. And then over the years, we've had more elephants. We've had staff come and work for us. And, you know, we've aged in that time. You know, Ever's had 2 knee replacements. I've had 2 knee replacements. But so the physical work isn't there as much. It's more managing and but we get up, you know, have a shower or get ready, walk out the door, we're at work. You know, and there's elephants straight outside the door. Elephants go past our place going to the river.
Yeah, we're right in the middle of it. You can never forget that.
So, and you get woken up to elephants roaring at night, or, you know, things like that. So, I mean, the elephants are you just right in here. So we've sort of taken a bit for granted now.
It's been a long time,
you know,
but I think I think I'm looking forward. Every time we have people come, it ignites us just as much, because we can educate people.
And we can share
people. Yeah, and there's nothing better than seeing people have a fantastic time and learn things and, you know, understand what it is you know, to look after elephants and, you know, to be able to impart a culture as unique as this. Now, I know India has, you know, their culture with elephants, and that's very important. And it's part of what makes, you know, India, India. And definitely the elephants here are part of what makes Thailand Thai. You know, it's part of something that people come to Thailand. So economically,
Thailand was built on the back of the elephant.
Definitely.
Without the elephants, they wouldn't have been able to develop Thailand into what it is today.
And Thai people learn about, you know, elephants and the kings and queens who, you know, rode them into battle. They learn all that at school. So it's very important to the culture and the history. And I think that's something that when people realise that, then they have more context for why we still have elephants. But millions of people come to Thailand to see elephants. And if they didn't have these elephants that they could see, then that would be a major hit on their economy. So economically, they're incredibly important to Thailand as a whole,
and
not tourism. Just because of the tourist part of it. So it's really on so many levels incredibly important.
I mean,
and that's why we want to give people a really good experience with that regard. But we also need to be able to cater to different people on different levels as far as the tourist industry goes, so, you know, we can cater to the people who want a more in-depth experience and those who don't want to have, you know, they just want to have a short ride or something, they can go into town and do that. And that's also, you know, people say, oh, you shouldn't ride elephants, but we've had 85 successful births from elephants that have given rides because they're really healthy.
And we're talking about a 5-ton animal.
Yeah. So they have socialisation, stimulation, exercise, and they breed like crazy because of it, because they're having a lot of stimulation and they're like, yeah, I'm going for it, no problem at all. And I think
elephants are like domestic elephants are like people in that they need work, they need that stimulation. Yeah, I mean, you hear stories of when people retire, you know, men retire and not long after they die, you know, quite often because they just stop working and they have that you know, like zest for life. But I mean, elephants are the same. They need a job. And whether it be in the Elephantstay program where they're retired, that's still their job, to retire and, you know, have guests come and look after them and earn money so that they could, you know, provide for their retirement.
But teach the people. You know, they're great teachers.
Yeah.
You know, because people come here and they learn so much about themselves, so much. It's like incredible the impact they have on them. And, you know, so many people go, oh, it changed my life coming here. And we have a lot of repeat business because of that, because people just go, oh, my God, this place is so special. And they have come back over and over. We've had, you know, some people come back 20 times.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, because most people don't want to come back to the same place because I've been there, I've seen that, I want to go somewhere else. But this is more like them, you know, even somebody came the other day and they said they hadn't been for 10 years and they go, it's like being at home.
Like coming home.
I mean, that's such a compliment, you know, to create that environment for people to feel that comfortable.
The more often they come back, the more bond they build with their elephant. And look, and the downside of that is we do deal with old elephants. So elephants have died, you know, but they've come back again and we've allocated another elephant for them and they've had the opportunity to bond with that elephant.
It's the whole cycle of life, isn't it?
And when people come here, as we said, you know, there can be births, but there also can be deaths, or we can have an elephant that's sick and ill, and we have to then, the program will change because the elephants come first. I mean, in the village, the elephants come first. They come before before the guests, before the staff, before everything. The elephants come first. So what is best for them? So we do our program around that. So things may may change daily. I mean, our program and what we say we do on the website is quite the basic. I mean, but it's so much more than that because it depends what's going on. It's always exciting. There's always something going on.
And I think that's the beauty of it, right? That it keeps changing, depending on the well-being of the elephant, like the way you said it. And you can't predict it. So you can't really have a one size fit for all program, because it might change.
Yeah, and we've had to over the times, like we've allocated one of our elephants to someone and that elephant's got sick. And I've said, well, I need to change you to another elephant because I'm not going to have you riding that elephant to the river. We need to take care of it and treat it. So, we do what's best for the elephant. So they learn that as well.
Last but not the least, Michelle and Reedy, what I would want to know from both of you is that, you are this amazing power couple in travel community. How does it feel? What are the new trends that you see in the LGBTQ community? How do you try and promote travel and tourism within the community? Has it changed over the years? How different has it become now? Has it evolved?
Well, we welcome everyone. Even straight people can come here.
Of course, of course.
But I mean,
that's the way it should be, right? An inclusive community where we all stay and live and be happy together. And that's all about it.
And I think, well, we never have an issue. I mean, people come here, they totally accept us for who we are. We've never been questioned about, who we are in a negative way or anything, of course. People are always very respectful. And I think that the majority of the world is, to be honest, people have come here.
Never, ever had an issue in being accepted here in Thailand but with the Thai family, with the village and everything. I've never received any discrimination.
No.
And it's, it's accepting. And so we accept everybody. I mean, we have advertised it's in some LGBT tourism places. But majority of people just find our website and come.
Yeah, and no one really
it doesn't
make any difference.
Sexuality doesn't matter.
No. It's kind of a non-issue in a lot of ways.
And that's because we're us. I mean, we're actually legally married, and so we're just ourselves.
I think
everybody who comes can be just for themselves.
And I think people are happy when they hear we're married. That kind of makes people happy, I think. They go, oh, that's really great. And we did have to travel out of Thailand for that. And it's not recognised here. And I think it's just the laws need to catch up with the reality of people's lives, and eventually that will happen, I think. But it's something that we've been fortunate because obviously the family embraced us without an issue.
Yeah.
And nobody has, we've just never, in Thailand, they're very accepting people, as a Buddhist country.
And non-confrontational.
Non-confrontational. So people have never, ever made an issue. I think it's more that we're foreigners is more of an issue than anything else.
And also, and what's happening with the LGBT community is, to be perfectly honest, there are steps forward, but there are huge steps going backwards to it at this day and time. And I'm not talking about Thailand. I'm talking about in the US,
global
Australia.
thing,
yeah. And I think Asia's has a long way to go. But I did hear Japan just started to recognise same-sex couples, not in marriage, but certainly in domestic partnerships. So
And there is a long way to
Taiwan
go. There is a long way to go globally.
Yeah.
But yeah, in Thailand here, people are accepted. I mean, you don't get discrimination.
And I just
so it's a great place for LGBT community to travel.
Definitely. It's a great place. Like, no one's ever going to question you here. Yeah. And I think that's the thing, is people are very accepting. And so what we see here is just everyone going about having a good time, you know, who are on holidays, wanting to have their holiday, and everybody else embracing the fact that they're spending money.
Yeah.
You know, I think in the end, it's just everybody wants to live in harmony.
Yeah, true. I think that would be all for, today. Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you so much, Eva. And
thank you, Megha.
Thank you, Megha. It's been great talking with you.
It was lovely talking to you. It was lovely knowing about the elephants and the amazing work that you both are doing in Thailand. I hope you get to open more of these Elephantstay places so that, we are enlightened more about those amazing animals that we have. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and what we'd like to say to people watching this is, come to look up our website, Elephantstay, book in and come.
And see for yourself.
Come and have an up close and personal experience with an elephant and see what it's about. I mean, the elephants are amazing to work with. They will challenge you in the sense of anything you're going through, they'll certainly help you work through it. It's very, what's the word, like stimulating and
quite rewarding in a way, I feel, as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, both of you. Have a great day. Have a good, thank you.
You too. Have a great day. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.